Yachts aren't known for being cheap, but when they get expensive, they get really expensive. So how pricey do yachts get where even billionaires around the world feel their wallets get thinner? From Steven Spielberg's $184 million yacht to one owned by a billionaire who co-founded Microsoft, here are 15 of the most expensive yachts in the world. Number 15. 7 Seas. The legendary filmmaker Steven Spielberg is sick and tired of being cramped up in his $184 million yacht. Wait, what? Clearly a man of luxury, the director of such movie classics as Saving Private Ryan and Schindler's List has had enough of his yacht called the 7 Seas, and wants something bigger after enjoying the yacht life a lot more than he thought he would. The expensive yacht in his possession was built by Dutch shipbuilding company Ocean Co. and is full of such luxuries as an infinity pool, 15-foot glass movie screen, helicopter pad, gym, spa, and massage room, just to name a few. Despite all of these amenities, the yacht can only sleep 12 people at a time. Rather than asking extra guests to sleep on the floor, Spielberg has his eyes set on a 300-foot yacht, which'll cost him a cool $250 million to build. It'll be fascinating to see what yacht he buys after his next one, if his love of yachts continues to grow. When the fact that your yacht can't fit enough of your friends is a subject for concern, you know you've made it into the realm of rich people problems. Number 14. Octopus. If the late co-founder of Microsoft, Paul Allen, thought this yacht was good enough for him, then it is surely good enough for me. This super yacht has all the amenities you would like to receive from a vessel which has a price tag of $325 million. This price tag would intimidate most, but certainly not the billionaire pockets of this former owner. The 414-foot yacht called Octopus caters to every need imaginable. On board, you'll find 8 decks, an elevator, a cinema, 2 helipads, and even a glass-bottomed underwater observation lounge for good measure. The yacht was put to good use by Allen during his time alive, with many late-night parties taking place on board during the Cannes Film Festival in France in particular. Clearly, this is a yacht that tickles the fancy of the uber-wealthy, with such shipmates on board varying from George Lucas, Mick Jagger, Karlie Kloss, and Chloe Sevigny. Paul Allen's family are also selling off other assets belonging to the man, including a $110 million Beverly Hills property and a MiG-29 fighter jet. The late billionaire clearly had a knack for style, as well as in founding successful international technology companies. Number 13. Lady Mora. If you were walking along the coast in the Mediterranean and you saw this next yacht, your mind would be blown by the sight of its size. This dominant force in the yachting industry is no other than the Lady Mora, a 105-meter long super yacht thought to be worth in the range of $250 million. Built by Blohm & Voss in 1990, this Titan of the Sea has a classic white exterior design which was created by Luigi Sturcio. You might be thinking that if this was built almost 30 years ago, then surely it's becoming outdated. Well, you would be right if it wasn't for the fact that the super yacht was refitted in 2007, allowing it to continue to be a dominating force on the seas. Just for reference, the super yacht is the 38th largest in the world. With a nightclub, casino, spa, and lounges inside its walls, there's certainly no wasted space on board. There's even a gigantic swimming pool with a slide-open roof on the upper deck. Number 12. Al Merkab. This larger-than-life super yacht, the Al Merkab, looks like it should be owned by a Bond supervillain or oil tycoon. With it actually belonging to Qatar's Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, Hamad bin Jassim Bil Jaber Al Thani, it was always going to be top of the line. And at 133 meters long of colossal steel, it certainly is built to make a big and lasting impression on its admirers. With its capabilities of accommodating 60 guests and 60 crew members, the capacity for legendary parties is certainly there. Imagine if you leave your phone charger in one end of the boat. It would take you all day to locate it. It's also so big, you could have a group of guests staying over that you have no clue is even there. That is, at least until they give you a shock by appearing at breakfast, hungry and looking for some food. But it isn't just its size that's impressive, with the design also garnering many awards for its style. Envisaged by naval architects Kush Yachts and Tim Haywood, with the interior design brought to life by Andrew Winch, they did not disappoint at all. At the 4th annual World Super Yacht Awards ceremony, this super yacht won the esteemed Motor Yacht of the Year award in addition to an interior design award. Not too shabby at all. Number 11. Dilbar. Of course, the largest motor yacht in the world is owned by a Russian billionaire oligarch. The Dilbar vessel was built by Lursen and delivered in May 2016 to the famous Alisher Usmanov in 2016. Usmanov is one of the richest men in Russia with a net worth of $12.4 billion, meaning he definitely has a lot of money to splash on a nice new boat. He has certainly chosen well, with his vessel, the Dilbar, costing around $800 million based on her gross tonnage. Whilst the size of the craft is so big that anyone parking next to it in the docks must get a serious dose of small man syndrome, the insides of it are just as impressive. Just to get an idea of how extravagant and unbelievable this ship is, you only have to look at its 25-meter onboard pool, which is one of the largest pools to ever be installed on a yacht. While the engine room isn't the first place you would take someone when trying to show off your yacht, this one might change that idea. The 30,000 kilowatt electric diesel power plant is also apparently the most powerful of its kind to ever be fitted on a super yacht. I guess if you're gonna spend around $1 billion on a ship, you'd want to make sure that it's one of the world's best. Number 10. Pelorus. The 115-meter Pelorus super yacht is one of the finest crafts to sail across Earth's water. Built in 2003 by Lursen, this magnificent ship is capable of accommodating 18 guests in its 9 cabins. The craft also has an engine to brag about, with its twin Wärtsilä engines giving it a swift max speed of 20 knots. Truly the creme de la creme of the boating world. The Pelorus has had an incredible list of owners, which varies from Chelsea Football Club owner and Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich to DreamWorks co-founder David Geffen. The keys to the craft now lie in the wealthy hands of Chinese billionaire Samuel Tak Lee. The boat has been estimated to be worth in the region of $2.9 billion, according to Forbes. Real estate tycoon Lee has been making use of the craft and its elegance, or should I say his son Jimmy Lee has. One summer, Jimmy Lee even went so far as to throw a party on board the super yacht with live performances from no less than David Guetta and MC Hammer. Sounds like quite the ride. Number 9. Al Said. If you were to see the super yacht called Al Said floating by, you would be forgiven for assuming it was a commercial ferry, a very expensive and flashy one at that. The Al Said was built by Lursen in 2008 and is as impressive on the inside as it is from the outside. This craft is able to accommodate an astounding 65 people within its structure, which has a beam of 24 meters and a draft of 5.2 meters. You can invite a whole town to stay on the ship and be comfortably entertained, with a cinema able to seat 50 people being just the tip of the iceberg. A 50-person cinema is about a quarter of the average public cinema's capacity, just floating on water. Imagine watching Jaws on board, that'd be something. With 6 decks and a helipad, the Al Said ticks all of the boxes. If you happen to be lucky enough to spot it in person, or just have a nosy look at its photos online, you'll notice the craft brandishes an Oman flag. That is because the owner of this mega yacht is the Sultan Qaboos bin Said Al Said of Oman, which explains how someone could afford the $600 million price tag. Number 8. Radiant. Equipped with an extremely powerful water cannon so as to defend itself from pirate attacks, the 110-meter super yacht, the Radiant, is not your average dinghy. The Radiant started out its life by being commissioned by a Russian billionaire. However, due to the billionaire being unable to keep up with the payments, it ended up being delivered to a powerful and obviously wealthy Middle Eastern family instead. Imagine a billionaire not being able to afford something, then you know the price tag must be mad. In terms of capacity, the Radiant is able to accommodate 20 guests and a crew of 44. Along with the aforementioned water cannon, the craft is powered by 2 MTU diesel engines, which give it enough boost to reach a top speed of 21 knots. With a steel hull and an aluminum structure, the ship is the perfect blend of elegant and powerful. What a ship indeed. Number 7. Super Yacht A. When a super yacht commissioned by a Russian billionaire looks like a piece of modern art and is simply called A, you know it's gonna be expensive. Andrei Melnichenko is the financier of this boat, which has a price tag of well over $400 million and can cater for up to 20 guests. The 468-foot A is as minimalist in its style as you could get, with its plain white exterior looking rather heavenly when it catches the bright sun's rays. The vessel has 3 freestanding masts, which are well over 300 feet in height, with sails that'll roughly cover the size of a football field. This is a very boldly big craft. Sailing Yacht A also has 8 decks and a glass observation pod in the bottom of its hull, which is perfect for exploring the passing marine life. On top of all this, you'll also find a helipad and even a submarine available, because why the heck not? Technically, this is one of the largest sailing vessels in the world, with a weight of 12,000 tons and masts which are so big that they don't even fit underneath any bridge. Sounds like a good problem to have. Number 6. Serene. Russian billionaire Yuri Shefler created his fortune and empire by exporting vodka. Whilst that might sound like the biggest stereotype you've heard in a while, it is in fact true. Shefler used his hard-earned and vast money to buy his super yacht, Serene. The Russian has since sold his craft for a reported $350 million to a Middle Eastern buyer in 2015. The 439-foot craft is reportedly the 11th largest private yacht in the entire world, and its ridiculous price tag is truly phenomenal. At $330 million, it costs $750,000 per foot for the 12-cabined vessel, which can host 24 guests and 53 crew at a time. But with an annual running cost of $49 million, it might not be on everyone's budget. With such a huge sum, it can sometimes be hard to process it. Let me help. Those running costs break down to $136,000 per day, or $5,650 per hour. If you want to get really specific, that's $94 per minute, or $1.60 per second. I don't think I'd be able to sleep knowing that it's costing me that much per moment to own the thing. With the average American earning $56,000 a year, it would only take less than half a day for your yearly salary to be gone. If you were to save $10,000 a month, it would take you 2,750 years to afford this vessel. Mind-boggling, to say the least. Number 5. Topaz. When the owner of the Topaz super yacht isn't riding around in their luxury motor yacht, they're busy deciding on what players to purchase in the soccer transfer market. This $527 million vessel was launched in 2012 and is proudly owned by the billionaire Mansour bin Zayed Bil Sultan Al Nahyan, as well as being notable for being no other than the Deputy Prime Minister of the United Arab Emirates and a member of the Abu Dhabi royal family. He's also the owner of the Manchester City Football Club, who are amongst the finest teams in the English Premier League. The owner of the 483-foot craft certainly keeps himself busy, and on top of all of these duties, he's also one of the richest people on the planet, with a net worth of $17 billion. Not only that, but when you factor in family wealth, this wealth rises all the way to almost $1 trillion. 527 million bucks all of a sudden sounds like a bargain of a price for the yacht, which is the second largest private yacht, as well as it barely making a dent in Sheikh Mansour's bank account. Number 4. Azam. Azam is the largest yacht in the world, and it has the credentials to prove it. At 180 meters, it's hard to dispute this claim. If you want to understand just how big this is, then listen to this. For starters, the 2,200 square meters of teak deck available is unbelievably equivalent to half a football pitch, which is large enough to entertain a stadium full of fans. With 95 kilometers of aluminum and steel profiles to keep the structure of this super yacht strong and sturdy, you might be thinking that it would be difficult to paint this $650 million craft. And you would be right. For starters, you need enough paint to give 38,000 cars a paint job to give this ship a new coat. That is unbelievable. But what's even more unbelievable is the amount of elbow grease it took to make this beast come to life. 6 million man-hours are what was required. That's equivalent to about 680 people working 40 hours a week for 4 years straight. Well, all of that effort seems to have paid off, as this is truly a work of art and design brilliance. Number 3. Eclipse. Roman Abramovich is known to football fans around the world as the owner of Chelsea Football Club. His investment into the club's acquisition of world-class players has led to the London club enjoying more than their fair share of silverware in the English Premier League. Whilst Abramovich is loved by Chelsea fans, he is also the personification of envy for yacht lovers globally. That tends to happen when you own the second largest and one of the most expensive super yachts ever created. The 162.5 meter long stunner is called the Eclipse and was launched in June 2009 after 5 years of design, development, and testing. The brainchild of adored German shipbuilder Blohm plus Voss, the craft costs a suffocating $590 million. Far from just being a trophy boat, the adventure and water sports activities filled trips you could go on are endless. Just pick a destination, pull up the anchor, and go. Number 2. The Streets of Monaco. Private yachts are great and everything, but what about a private yacht which is a recreation of an entire city? Sounds like a madman's idea, right? One which could never be made into a reality. Well, have I got some news for you. This 500-foot private yacht is called the Streets of Monaco, and it's a floating replica of the famous luxurious Mediterranean city. It includes everything, right down to replicas of the Monte Carlo Casino, Hotel de Paris, and the iconic Monaco racetrack. They certainly didn't cut any corners when designing this titan, as it includes everything on board from open-spaced atriums to waterfalls to even a sightseeing submarine if you want to take your exploring out to sea. It's such a crazy concept, but one I would certainly not mind getting on board with. This very unique yacht might sound like it would cost a lot to build, and you would be more than right. The final bill tallied up to $1.1 billion. However, when you ask for a racetrack, tennis court, and a cinema to be built on a floating vessel, you would be more than naive to think it was going to be anywhere near cheap. Number 1. History Supreme. At $4.8 billion, the History Supreme is so expensive that it makes you feel a bit nauseous just thinking about it. This super yacht is the most expensive yacht in the world, and that shouldn't come as a surprise, considering it's made of solid gold. The owner of the craft is Robert Nock, who is apparently Malaysia's richest man. And if you can afford to own this craft, then you'd have to be. This piece of floating indulgence took over 3 years to finish and required 220,462 pounds of gold to garnish the craft with. Everything, and I mean everything, was covered in either gold or platinum. That even includes the anchor used by the boat. I don't know about you, but if I owned this craft, I would be very concerned there were robbers dressed in scuba diving equipment chipping away at the precious metals on the underside of my yacht. It's probably no surprise then that the businessman who bought it decided to remain anonymous. However, I don't think anyone turning up anywhere in a yacht made of solid gold is gonna keep a low profile for very long.